Hi, welcome back to Mr. Cho's lesson on Chapter 8. Now in today's lesson, we are going to learn about 8.2, about why is air pollution a growing concern. Okay, let's jump right into it. Today our objectives there are four main objectives. Firstly, to appreciate that air is an important type of matter that can be polluted as a result of man's activities. Okay, do you remember what the word matter means? Let's write that out. Okay, so matter is anything that has mass and takes up space. Okay, so air has mass, even though it feels like oftentimes air does not take up any space, but that's not true. Air also takes up space around us. Okay, so second is to list the possible harmful effects of air pollutants through human activities. For example, acid rain, greenhouse effect, and haze from forest fires. We also want to investigate the effects of acid rain on the environment and appreciate that clean air is important for Singapore. Okay, so why is air an important type of matter? Well, we all need air to survive. All living things need oxygen to break down the food we eat so as to give us energy to do work, to move around, and to grow. Right? For example, these sleighing dogs, right? They are usually found in the Antarctic or the Arctic, and their job is to transport people across the snow. Okay, you can see they're breathing heavily because they are running, and when they're breathing in, they're taking in oxygen so that their body has enough energy to move. Same for the elephant here. It's doing work. It's trying to push this heavy log around, and to do this it needs a lot of energy because the log is very heavy, right? So it needs all this energy. Well, first one, it gets energy from food as well as the oxygen. Okay, so green plants also take in carbon dioxide that's present in the air to make food in the presence of sunlight. So as we can see in this diagram, this pie chart over here, we can see that our atmosphere consists of about 78% nitrogen, 20% oxygen, and this is the important thing for us humans, right? And animals, we need oxygen. It also has about 0.03 carbon dioxide, so that's quite little. But surprisingly, even though it's so little, this carbon dioxide, other gases, can contribute to greenhouse effect. Okay, so air can be polluted as a result of man's activities. Right? Air is very easily polluted by man-made waste, toxic gas when they are released into the air. So when our factories burn things, right, it produces a lot of toxic gases, and it's just pumped straight into the air. So air is very easily polluted. You don't need to bring it to the river, you don't need to do anything special, you just go straight into the air. And in a very short time, the waste toxic gases can move over a large area and cause breathing problems for many people. So air, spreads very quickly. When there's wind, when the wind blows it around, you just move and spread throughout the whole country. So that's the reason why air is very important to keep our air clean. Right? Clean air is needed for trees to make food. Now previously we have talked a little bit about acid rain, so let's talk a little bit more about it. Right? Air pollutants like sulfur dioxide and oxides of nitrogen can dissolve in rainwater to form acid rain. Okay, so over here we have a picture of the acid waste gases that are emitted by the factory. Now, what happens is that when these gases go, they will have a cloud, right? So this is a cloud. Okay, so the cloud, and the gases start to come by. So all these gases start to enter the cloud, and these are the acidic gases. So when they mix with the cloud consists of rain, right, of water droplets, and once it's full enough, it will start to rain down. So it starts to rain, and we get acid rain that kills the plants. So all these poor plants below, right, they're all gonna die because of the acid rain. Okay, so buildings, plant life, and cars can become affected by acid rain. So like we have seen, even statues, right, ancient statues, they can become corroded because of acid rain. Now, the second effect that all this air pollution can cause is called the greenhouse effect. And I'm sure you've heard this many times in the news before. Greenhouse effect, global warming, all these kind of words. Now, what exactly does the greenhouse effect mean? So it means that normally, right, in the normal situation, natural gases in the Earth's atmosphere would help keep the Earth warm by trapping heat from the sun. Okay, this is normal and this is important, right? Because we all need some heat. Can you imagine living in a cold and a frozen, barren wasteland? That would be what Earth would be like if there was absolutely no none of these natural gases around. However, gases such as carbon dioxide, methane, water vapor, some oxides of nitrogen, and ozone, these are greenhouse gases. Okay, now this is called the greenhouse effect. We can see that the sun is shining down on the earth. So the heat energy from the sun shines down and it touches the earth. At this point, the earth becomes warm. Then the heat energy would be released back into the atmosphere. However, if there are greenhouse gases, they will block it from exiting the atmosphere. Normally, the greenhouse gas would be able to exit out into outer space, right? So we don't get so much heat trapped on the earth. However, when there are all these greenhouse gases, when the energy from the sun comes, gets trapped in the greenhouse gas, so it bounces back to the earth, right? Then try to escape it, bounce back. So all this bouncing back and forth just increases the heat of the planet. Now you may be wondering, where does this word greenhouse come from? Okay, so it actually comes because of this structure here, this building. As you can see, this is a house that is made of glass, and it behaves in a similar concept to what we have just learned. So what it does, this building, is that it traps heat energy. So when sunlight comes in to the greenhouse, the rays of sunlight, right, it gets trapped within the greenhouse, and so this makes the greenhouse a warm place, so that it's good to grow all these crops, right? You can grow plants, you can grow whatever you want, whatever plants you want, because plants need a lot of sunlight and a lot of heat, so that is good for the plants. However, this same effect, the greenhouse effect, also applies in a large scale to the whole earth. So when we have all these bad greenhouse gases that trap the heat energy in the earth is starting to heat up. So due to the increase in the use of vehicles and industrialization, which I've mentioned to you previously, it means that there's more factories, there are more people living modern lives. So this is the meaning of industrialization. So more greenhouse gases are released. Greenhouse gases will tend to trap excessive heat from the sun and cause global warming. Now, I'm sure that you have heard of this word global warming before. And on a simple meaning, it just means that the earth is becoming hotter. So global warming will cause the polar ice caps to melt and cause flooding in low-lying areas. Let me explain what this means. Okay, let's try and draw the earth. Okay, so over here we have the Earth, right? And on the Earth we have continents, right? North America, Europe, Asia, Africa, and Asia. Okay, so this roughly is a representation of the globe. However, we also have Antarctica. Oops, sorry, that's the top is the Arctic, and the bottom, the south, is the Antarctic. So over here we have a lot of polar ice caps, right? That means they are just frozen ice, water that is frozen. However, if the sun, if it's too hot, right, it gets hot, then this will start to melt. And when it melts, where does the water go? The water will then go spread out around the earth, and then it starts to flood the earth. So all this land that people are living in starts to get flooded. Right, then what happens to us? We all sink underneath the water, then become Atlantis, like Aquaman like that. Alright, so that's something that we don't want to happen. And furthermore, global warming can also cause droughts. Right, so when it gets too hot, right, there's not all this, the ground becomes very dry like that, and there's no water in the ground, so the plants have no water and therefore they die, and that's what we call as a drought. Now, another bad effect of all these air pollutants is haze. We ourselves have experienced haze quite frequently. Alright, so haze affects the environment badly, and haze can be carried by winds around the region in just a few hours. So if someone burns something, within just a few hours, it can be spread all around that person by the winds. Now, Singapore uses the PSI, or Pollution Standard Index, to measure air pollution. For example, 0 to 50 means good, 51 to 100 means moderate, 101 to 200 means unhealthy, 201 to 300 means very unhealthy, and above 300 means hazardous. Okay, so I want you to make a guess. What was the highest recorded PSI in Singapore before, in the entire history of Singapore? Okay, make a guess. Is it, here, 0 to 50, 200 to 300, above 300? What number do you think it is? Okay, the answer is 471, the highest ever, which happened on 20th October 2015. Right, so maybe when you were about 10 years old. How bad was it? It was about this bad, right? It was really quite bad. Mr. Cho remembers this because he was, he was alive during this time. So it was really so bad, I couldn't see anything at all. Okay, in fact, a lot of the schools had to close for a little while also. Okay, because Singapore is a small island nation, the air around us is very easily affected by nearby regions. So poor air quality can have a direct and lasting effect on our health, daily activities, schools, and work life. So this here is a picture of a boy suffering from asthma. Okay, this is the what I call as a ventilator, and it's basically giving him some medicine to help him breathe more easily. Okay, and with that, we actually come to the end of the video. I want you to watch this video as many times as you need to understand it. I know there are some big concepts like the greenhouse effect and haze. So these two concepts are important. You should try to understand them. Okay, do some research, do watch some YouTube videos about these two effects. I'm sure that you can find plenty of videos. Okay, this is Mr. Cho signing out. Bye.